get started.
Let's get started indeed. Today, we have none other than Amanda Christensen from Iowa Dent Solutions and Prime Accounting Team. We'll learn more about that in just a minute. But before we do that, I do got a couple housekeeping things I want to do. Gotta say, big thanks to Dent Digest, Ryan Schutt, my goodness, Ryan Schutt, Bryce Kelly, and Alex Kulis from Arizona, Dent Repair, did the top 5 tools. Dent Reaper did get a few shout outs there. Tabs, dolly tips goes tomorrow. And yeah, and then big shout out to Andy, Patrick as well, Anson, everybody doing the Dents for Kids events. Been seeing some amazing shots of all the huge piles and piles of toys. And Anson, I mean, they had bikes and just all kinds of stuff. So cool. Big shout out to everybody putting those on. And I'll be having one on the 16th, little different rendition. We're going to turn ours into a Christmas onesie pub crawl. So if you're in it or around Minneapolis for that, reach out and we'll have a little bit of fun there. But without further ado, Amanda, I apologize for all of this. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, you should have made notes.
I should have. Yes.
I love that. Yeah. I love when I have that feeling.
I think that was just my internet must have froze. I think we could blame that. We could blame it on that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Alex.
Sure. That was your wheel of death spinning inside your head. Your hard drive had a hiccup.
Yep. Too many things all at once. But yeah, so Amanda, let's start where everybody starts, because everybody wants to know, how the heck did you get involved with paintless dent repair? I mean, how did you find this weird little niche that we all love to live in?
I married into it. So my husband, Ron, he's been doing paintless dent repair for a long time now, over 20 years. Almost 25 years, I think. He's pretty humble and quiet in the industry. If you know him, he's not, but you know him, John.
Oh yeah. No, he's a great time and great tech, and you guys pump out a ton of work around there, and it is pretty impressive. And yeah, I was honored to have the opportunity to come work with you guys for a week during the last hail season.
We were honored to have you. So.
Well, shucks, it was tons of fun and highly productive and highly fun. So
good.
Double win for me. Double win.
Win-win.
Yeah. got to love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been in the automotive industry for about 15 years. Well, longer than that, but I sold American cars in Germany, or shipped them to Germany way back in the 90s, like when you were a little kid probably. And so I had some experience there. And then when I met my husband, I ended up working for a body shop, managing the front end, estimating all that. And then when we got hail, and I was estimating a lot of hail, and then my husband's like, why are we not doing this for ourselves? So we jumped in, both feet. So yeah, been doing it a while. And
love it. Yeah. So when did Iowa Dent Solutions officially start then?
Well, it started out, Ron did primarily wholesale, and he had, it was Ron Christensen PDR to start with. And then we were at a hail expo and talking about websites, just kind of getting industry information. And he's like, if we're going to do any retail, we really need to have a different name. So we switched it to Dent Solutions. Gosh, I think he started, so he had his own business before we met, and he closed that and then kind of got out of PDR for just not very long. He couldn't stay out of it. And then, started back into the automotive industry and then back into PDR. And then we started doing our own business probably in 2014, I think. No, 13, 14, I don't know. Somewhere in there.
13, 14. What's the difference?
A while back.
Yeah.
So,
it's been long. It's been long enough.
Long enough, yeah.
It's been a good run though.
It has, and we've
grown
a lot more than we ever expected. So, which is not a bad problem to have, but a little bit of a scary problem, as anybody that goes through that can attest.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
Gotta love it. Oh, we got some people coming in. We got Nick Prang saying, "What's up?"
Hi, Nick.
We got a Facebook user.
Hello there. Hello there.
Oh, hello there. And Jeff McMahon with a hello there. How's everybody doing?
Minnesota. Hello.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, Facebook user. Click the links. We'll get your name. Yeah.
I have to admit, I don't know how to do that either.
I have a video. I'll redo it for Dents and Nerds. I did it for Dent Nerds, but anyway, the users will be users tonight, and another hey from a user. But so let's get into this new venture that you've decided to tackle. You're calling it Prime Accounting Team, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for having me on and promoting this. You are the first podcast where we're rolling this out. So you got in there
Dent
first.
Nerds exclusive. I feel like
Dent Nerds
Barbara Walters right now.
Yep, your listeners are getting in on the ground level. So
well, hey, I've worked with you. I know you from PDR 20 group. We've known each other a couple of years now. I know you are a wicked smart lady, as they would say in Boston. Yeah, just I know the cut of your jib, and I like it. So if I could help you help other PDR technicians run their businesses a little bit more smoothly, I think it's a win for everybody. So
yeah, and that's exactly why we are doing this. There's no point in recreating the wheel. So
exactly. Right.
We were trying to come up with an analogy about why people should use Prime Accounting. See, I had a ding even though I silenced my phone. It came through my computer. So we were trying to come up with this analogy about why people should use us. And I was like, I'm going to ask Ron. He's smarter than he looks he is, And so he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, it's like, if you're in a hailstorm and you hate doing R&Is, and you could hire an R&I guy to do your R&Is, and then you can be much more efficient and make more money and not mess things up. Those are all the things you do when you don't like to R&I. You're not efficient. You don't make as much money. I mean, who wants to go down the half hour to an hour YouTube rabbit hole trying to figure out how to pull down the visors so you can get the headliner down?
Oh, to put a visor back into a Honda, those damn Honda I mean, having an R&I guy any day.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many dollars that would save me from the swear jar alone. But
yes,
much more efficient. And yeah, I mean, I've worked along R&I guys that they just pop them in like that, and it's just makes total sense. But and
they have processes and procedures that they follow, and they know how to do it. So ask Jack about where to put the parts when doing a visor. He'll tell him if you're listening, Jack. But so started out, so I'll tell you who we are, I guess. Besides myself, our senior accountant is Stacy Hesterworth, and she has worked, she has a ton of experience in bookkeeping and accounting, and she has a lot of great connections and a lot of pull in the industry. And so she's focused on the automotive repair industry for about 5 years, and kind of niching down to PDR. And then we have the famous Shane Jacks from PDR College, and he is part of this, along with, well, obviously, PDR College, he has 30 plus years experience in PDR. And if you know Shane, he's a problem solver. He likes to figure that out. So he is part of Tech One with Brandon Birch, who is also a problem solver, has over 30 years in the collision repair industry, tons of customer service relationship development experience. And Shane kind of got Brandon to fall in love with the PDR industry because, as you know, it's a great industry. It really is. There's
so many awesome people, and
tons, not like the collision repair industry at all. And every industry you can get cutthroat and all that, but it's not like the collision repair industry. For some reason, PDR people tend to join together instead of, at least the good ones do, right?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And listen, there's a lot of good ones, and there's a lot of, closely knit cliques or teams, or however you want to call it. I mean, everybody's got a list of people that they have worked with and have had great success with, and depending on the year is how far down that list they have to go. And a lot of people this year
went to the bottom,
had to go pretty far down their list because it was a huge
it was a weird year.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not taking anything away from anybody else. If you're not on my list, or if you're not on Shane's list, all these techs have had time to build their lists. So it would be difficult
more
to get
of
on.
Not necessarily working your way down the list. It was like blasting the entire list in no particular order. So yeah, that's kind of what we did. It was like, okay, who's ready? And they're all like, occupado. It's like, crap. Yeah. So that's why we ended up with John Vidine, you guys. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, somebody said that's why he called me John. Yeah. Sorry about that. So and then it does look like Jack's here. He said,
"Hi, Jack." Whoop whoop.
And Josh Drago says he's going to have to watch later. You can watch, or you can listen on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get podcasts.
Quality podcasts.
Quality podcasts, yes. And this one.
So yeah, then we started the Prime Accounting team. I had kind of a vague idea of something like this, and I've had it for a little while. And a couple years ago, I started working with Tech One, and we've worked, I think, at least 4 storms together. Got to know Shane and Brandon, and as you know, when you work hail with us, your family, you become one of my hail babies. And so
you guys take great care of us. Wow.
Yeah. So I feed you, I house you, I take good care of my boys and girls. And so I had Shane and Brandon out, and Shane loves rhubarb cobbler now. I like to send him pictures every time I make it to make him jealous. So, so we got together in these storms, and we had pain points that we worked through and refined a lot of things. And then we're just like, we need to keep the team together, keep the band together. And how can we do that? We all liked working with each other, and they worked with Stacy. And so I said, hey, here's kind of something I've been throwing around for a while. What do you guys think? Because it's not something I could really do by myself. It was, because I would overthink it to death, and it would roll out after a bunch of other people had already come up with the idea, So that's why I partnered with those guys. Stacy has the knowledge with the bookkeeping and accounting and the experience. I've gained a lot of that myself, learning it the hard way, and there's really no point in doing that. I mean, it's why I learned to be the R&I guy and the PDR and the Hail Tech, if you don't have to. So, but, Shane and Brandon, they're, as you know, they're movers and shakers. They get it done. And so wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Prime accounting team was formed real quick. And, it wasn't real quick. Actually, I had the idea in the spring, and then this summer happened, and we tabled it till fall. And then we're like, okay, let's talk about this. And we got it done real fast. So especially thanks to Brandon and Stacy. So not to discount Shane, but he's got his own part going on right now. So
yeah. Well, yeah, could never discount Shane.
And we did it because it's needed. So we've all been kind of like, okay, who do I go to? What CPA can I go to that's going to understand this business and not kick me out of their office because I'm carrying in this big box of disorganized receipts? And, and, or you think it's organized, and they could go, well, you did all that wrong. Do it again.
Yeah. Well, I've been with my accountant for over 6 years whenever I went on my own. And then, before that, I was actually referred to this accountant from my former employer's old accountant. So there was some understanding of PDR when I went there, and still, working through all the thises and that's, and
why do you do this?
Finer details, and you
have to train them.
What is this? What is that? And exactly. There's, between mileage and tools and
why you get paid the way you get paid.
Figuring all that stuff out. It was definitely a learning curve on both sides, because I don't speak accounting language and they don't speak PDR language.
Nope.
So, but yeah, a difficult transition for both sides. And I think, a lot of PDR business owners could sympathize with that for sure. And have been down that road, or maybe even still on it. So,
definitely.
I know people that have told me they've switched accountants every year, and
hoping to find one that'll get it.
So I think it'll be good for a ton of people out there. So I don't know, maybe if we want to roll into some specific tips. I have been shouting from the rooftops that we're going to have some tips for people.
Well,
what kind of tips can you throw out there for your typical PDR business?
Well, I think, first and foremost, using the right software is kind of important. So we're kind of based around QuickBooks Online and Mobile Tech RX, so that you can merge the two. Andy said, it's me. I had the different accountant every year.
I know you guys.
So having the right software and then knowing how to use it. So the big thing is categorizing your expenses correctly and your income. You don't have it categorized correctly, you can't write it off correctly. Another big one that makes everybody's eyes glaze over, like the first one didn't do that enough, would be to pull, review, and correct reports like your profit and loss, your balance sheet, all that. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't even have my stuff in there, so it's hard to do. Staying on top of it is probably one of the biggest things and the hardest thing to do. And once you stay on top of it, you really have to reconcile accounts. So not just your bank account, reconcile your credit card accounts and any loan accounts. So if you've got a loan on your work van, first of all, I hope it's in the business name. But you've got to go in there and split that loan to show your interest and your principal. And if you're not doing that, you can't reconcile the account. And so it doesn't get done a lot of times. So the main reason to do all of that is so that you can be prepared for any opportunities. So if you have, an opportunity to buy a brick and mortar or something like that, when you're a route guy and it's like, man, I've always wanted to shop, I really want to do that. You go to the bank and they're like, we need your P&Ls and your balance sheet. And you're like, well, I didn't do and your taxes. And you're like, well, I've got an extension on my taxes and I'm not quite caught up on my P&L and balance sheet from last year, and I'm definitely not caught up from this year. And they're like, well, you call us back when you are.
Yeah, better be ready to buy that shop.
Yeah, so that shop's gone by the time you get all that done. So you have to, to be able to seize those growth opportunities, you have to be able to be caught up and pull the information and just to know where you are as a business and feel confident in what you're doing. I mean, just like when you started pushing Dents, you weren't real confident in it. It took you an entire day to do a door ding. And, now that door ding might be 15 minutes and you sit there and play on your phone for a while and call the customer and go, oh, okay. I'll have it ready for you in a few hours, because you are efficient at it now and all that. So, and because sarcasm is your love language, I know this. You are my biggest tax tip is to use Prime Accounting Team. I mean, that's my biggest tip there. So
yeah. I mean, I would think, man, anybody that doesn't already have an accountant, and everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, I suppose, but to take that load off your plate as far as getting the P&Ls done, getting the balance sheet done, like every month I get all that stuff, and then my accountant will send me a AMA. I don't even know what it stands for in accounting terms, but I think Ask Me Anything, like it's a Twitter poll.
My accountant.
Ask my accountant. That's what it is. And, just different line items like, what is this? Why did you spend, $400 at this steakhouse? Well, I took, so-and-so out for dinner or whatever. So that they can properly categorize it or what have you. And, different marketing things or this is and that sometimes don't get properly categorized and they double check those things. But to have all that stuff in line and know where you're at the end of the year. So you know if you can or should make a big purchase, like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I would like a new car, I can afford one, I think,
Right.
according to
And
my
that's
bank account,
another
until
great tip is to do a year-end review with your CPA and just, do some pre-tax planning. Do I need to spend money? Do I need to sell something? What do you need to
do we
do
need
that
to
will
hustle?
minimize your tax bill?
Yeah.
Because
I believe I can tell a story on this. It's really good. So when John Scotto had his first ever Northeast Dent Tech meetup, your car never looked better. I'm on the plane with sitting next to Don Kavanaugh. My accountant calls me. This is March something, right before COVID. And, taxes are due April 15th. My accountant calls me and says, all right, we got everything done. Yeah, you're going to owe $15,000. And I was like, I have a month. Like, I think I had like $15,001 in my bank account at that time. But he kept telling me, it's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be that bad.
yeah,
And I guess his not that bad and mine not that bad were totally different. So
it's relative.
I'm gallivanting around, going to
Spending
Dent
money.
Tech meetups all over the place, having a blast, when I should have been, maybe hustling a little bit harder, keep that cushion where it should have been. But so now every year, mid-November, we have a meeting, get a rough estimate together, and it's been very helpful. It's been very helpful.
Yeah, and you can do that if you're caught up. If you're not caught up, you're not going to get that done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most definitely. And my favorite thing, it's a write-off. Like I love a good shot at a write-off. We can,
and
buy
honestly,
a beer. We can go out to eat. I love buying tools. I love all that stuff. I just feel like everything is on sale. Like everything's 30% off. If I can utilize it as a write-off, because it just takes away from my taxable income.
Well, and I think kind of the way our tax system is structured is so honestly, so that if you look at your taxes and how they're going to pan out for the end of the year, it's really structured so that you do put money back into the economy, into your industry, whatever. Obviously it's your choice where you put it, but PDR guys, we put it in the industry. And
some PDR guys put it in different places.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. We don't need to go there, John, but no. But it is so that to minimize your tax bill, you've got to spend money and reinvest it in your business. It would be lovely to have a nice savings there all the time, but the government really doesn't want you to. Based on the way they make our tax laws, it doesn't feel like they want you to. But yeah, I mean, you just, as long as you have some working capital and you're not having to pay that $15,001 in working capital to pay your taxes,
Yeah.
And that's where the categorization comes in, because if you aren't putting stuff in the right spot, it's like, well, that's nice, you spent it on that. That's not a write-off. And you're like, it's not. I thought it was, and they're like, nope, not a write-off. Or not the way you thought it was. And, we also, in terms of talking about software and stuff like that too, the other thing that I have found really helpful is Mile IQ. You can get a mileage app in or through QuickBooks. Mile IQ is $54 a year, $55 a year. So worth it. How many dents do you have to push to pay for that subscription?
I've never used, I have and still have the Self Books or QuickBooks Self-Employed.
Yeah.
That does the mileage tracking.
And that one's
And
a
then
lot better than
every year
online.
every year from January 1st until I get done, I call it mileage Tinder, because you have to swipe
Yep.
left or right if it's
Same.
personal or
Yep.
So I play mileage Tinder from January 1st until I get it done, which it usually takes a week or so to scroll through the whole year, and I just know what the map by my house looks like. So
Yeah.
everything there is personal, and then everything else is business. As long as whatever, I've got my parameters.
Yeah.
But
I like the Mile IQ because you can name the location. So like for our employee, he doesn't swipe on a regular basis. I do, Ron does. He's like, nah, really into that. I'm sure if I wrote him, he would do it. But I'm like, it's really not that big a deal. I know where he goes and he has him named. I just log into his account and do all the swiping for him, and it's done in a matter of minutes. So yeah, it's really, that is very, very important. One of my previous bookkeeping accounts, he did masonry. So I had several bookkeeping accounts that I was doing. I Forrest Gumped my way into bookkeeping. I was doing it for our business. Then we started another business, and then this business got bigger. So we closed that other business. We didn't have time for it. And then my sister has a bookstore and asked me to help her with her books. And then my masonry friend asked me to help him with his books, and that it was a crazy deal. He had been audited back in, I don't know, like 2009 or something. He got audited well before I was doing his books. And he tells me, yeah, they didn't, when they audited me, I didn't have a log of my mileage. So they didn't let me expense any or write off any of my fuel expense. None. And I mean, you can do it both ways. You can write it off as a fuel expense, but you have to have the mileage for it. And if you were to get audited, that they want proof that the mileage matches your fuel expense. Or you can write off the mileage, and usually writing off the mileage, unless gas prices are absolutely astronomical, which I've not seen yet, it's more beneficial to use knock on wood. It's more beneficial to use the mileage. So tracking that is pretty important too.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what that's always how I've done it. So
yeah,
what I was instructed to do anyway. But here, one thing that you have brought up that I've not heard a lot of other people talk about is that you guys will do tool depreciation. So
yes.
when somebody buys a tool, let's just throw something out there. Let's say they buy a new roof reaper. Now, can you write that whole thing off in one chunk this year?
Mm-hmm.
And then can you still depreciate it over to the years, or do you only go percentages every year?
You go percentage of every year. So you could take if you have your tool expenditures categorized, then you can depreciate you can decide what's going to be most beneficial for you. Looking at your history and looking at that year in particular, is it more beneficial to write off all the tools, or did you buy like a hot box or something, a big expenditure? Did you end up buying, if you have a brick and mortar, did you end up buying a welder? Did you end up buying, something big like that? Those bigger things you definitely want to depreciate over multiple years, if you can. I mean, there are times where you're like, we had 5 hailstorms this year and we made a lot of money, and now I need to write all this stuff off, or I need to buy more stuff. So, that's where having the pre-tax planning is important. But, you can write it off or depreciate it a little bit at a time. Your vehicles, you can depreciate. Your property, I mean, all of it's property, but like your real estate property, a building, the vehicles, the tools. And then there's a depreciation schedule in your taxes. So it's that's CPA talk. That just made your eyes glaze right over.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, how does it? Okay, yeah, sorry.
Like,
we've got
okay.
a couple.
Yeah, Andrew, it's a write-off. It's all a write-off.
Whoop, whoop. Somebody else already missed too much. You can listen on Spotify or rewatch on YouTube later. Corey Nichols in the house. And then Andy wants to know, what do you do when you found out your CPA quit in December?
Andy,
Perhaps,
I would say give me a call.
I would suggest calling Prime Accounting Team. Have you got a website or a?
We do.
What's the name of that website? Is it primeaccountingteam.com? Is that
correct? Yep. primeaccountingteam.com. And we are currently on Facebook only. We haven't gotten all the social stuff up yet, but Prime Accounting Team is our tag. And we've got a big P with the kind of slide through it. I don't know. Is that how you describe it, John?
Yeah. Well, why don't we let's show everybody what it looks like so they can see for themselves. I am not. Yeah, we got it. We got it all figured out.
Depends on the tech.
Well, it does depend on the tech.
There we go.
There it is. Prime Accounting Team. Oh, I should probably accept the cookies,
Get that out of there.
Yeah, I always like a good cookie or two. But yeah, there you go, Andy. Why don't you check this out? They've got plenty of good information on there.
Got our bios and everything on there.
Brandon and Shane couldn't be pulled out of the camping.
Out of the wild? No, they're wild men.
Pictures. Yeah, well, that's good.
Stacy and I are much more civilized.
Sounds like a really good balance to me. It does. Sounds like a dang good balance.
But yeah,
it's a good looking website. But yeah, so you head over there, Andy, and you'll get it figured out. Well, let's see.
So we kind of I'm giving Amanda a call, and me and Amanda are in the same place. Yeah, that's hard to get you two together at the same time during business hours when there's not a customer in front of you.
Tough stuff. Tough stuff. So definitely keep a mileage log. Tip 1. Tip 2, understand your tool write-off differences. You can depreciate over time. You can take it all in one chunk.
Actually, that's for your CPA. So
yeah,
don't even try to figure that out. Make sure you have a good CPA that can figure it out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a good question. And I've got a friend who shall remain nameless. He's a PDR guy, and he has not filed his taxes for, let's just say, multiple years. And he is what I would call up the creek without a paddle, in that sense. Now,
is that shallow creek?
Yeah, is that something that you guys would be willing to tackle, or I mean, I doubt he's the only PDR tech in that situation. I've heard nightmare stories, and I've had my run-in with the IRS before I ever got into Dents, and I'm telling you guys right now, it is an unwinnable battle, and just pay your taxes.
Just pay your taxes.
Pay them every penny they want.
Yep.
Obviously, take all the write-offs, take advantage of all of the legal things that you can legally take advantage of. But there's no cheat in the system.
No, they're going to get you. Yeah. And honestly, that's something we would take on. So we kind of, in PDR terms, we are like your tool cart. We have our tool cart, and we have all the tools to do all the PDR bookkeeping, all of that. But each company is different. Just like every dent is in a different location, different bracing behind it, whatever. you got to use different tools. So we have different tools to cater to different businesses and how, because, every PDR business is a little bit different, how you run. And, whether you're a route tech, a hail chaser, a brick and mortar, they're different, and you got to account for different things. You're not paying for hotels and food and things and as much long-term or long mileage as you would if you were a hail tech when you're a route tech, so our cart's pretty full. We've got a lot of tools and we can help. So what we usually do is we'll talk, get information, and then we'll look at your books. We'll have our senior accountant take a peek and see what's in there. And then we can give an estimate of what it will take to clean everything up and try to, just like you do when you're estimating a car, hopefully it'll take less and you'll have a really happy customer. But we're going to get it right. We're going to glass it.
Nice.
We're going to get it right.
Glass them taxes. I like it.
Glass the taxes. That was a good one, wasn't it?
I did.
So, that's, there's no one size fits all. You can't go to a hailstorm with one tool,
Right.
You can't go with one tab. You can't go with one stick of glue. You need multiple tools, and that's what we have with the group that we've got. And our affiliates, we're trying to develop an affiliate group of people that we can refer people to for things. One of the affiliate things we can do for people is help with shop insurance and health insurance, 401ks, things like that, through affiliates that help shop owners. I mean, that's something that, that is a pipe dream for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's different.
Everybody would have a shop, a brick and mortar retail shop. Has always been my goal, and it's a tough thing to even come across. And like you said earlier, if all those I's aren't dotted and those T's aren't crossed, it's gonna be hard to strike the iron when it's hot. So, and speaking of affiliates, speaking of shop owners, Andy said he would have a stroke if he was 3 years or multiple years without filing, but he's having a shop owners roundtable tomorrow on Ginger Bros. And we got Shuddy in the house, Dent Digest. Shuddy, I don't know who you're having on Thursday, but feel free to put it in the comments. But anyway, sorry, shameless plug for my podcasting brothers.
Well, it's the industry, and that we stick together. I mean, that's what I love about it. We stick together. The industry has given me a lot. I mean, it's given me a lot of confidence, a lot of experience. I've met a lot of really great people. And so I really want to give back to the community. It's, none of us needed more work. None of us needed another business. But the industry needed us to get together and do this. And it's not about, making the big bucks. It's about helping the industry become more professional. I mean, just like when MTRX came on the scene, it was kind of a game changer for a lot of companies. It made us a lot more professional, a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Where, valid.
Yeah.
And, And so, now a lot of guys are really starting to use CCC more because that lends us even more credibility with the insurance adjusters.
Especially with insurance adjusters. I think that's where CCC definitely shines. I don't think your average, retail customer or, dealership account, whatever, is going to care. If you're working with a body shop, they probably already have CCC, but
right.
But yeah, I would say, DentMate, Mobile Tech RX, all
Any
that
of the
stuff,
estimating
great
systems.
for your average retail customer. CCC, if you want the most out of your insurance quote, go there. And depending on your situation, like for me, I'd struggle because I'll use DentOps when it hails here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's starting to be to the point where it's like, do I put in the
I
time to
know.
invest? Could I do CCC as good as DentOps? What's the time to money differential? Because CCC is expensive every month, and if you don't use it to its full potential every month, then it's kind of wasted money. So I don't know. I'm more supplement it with DentOps and kind of outsource that stuff because I'm not a CCC expert. So
right. And that's kind of, they're a lot in a similar situation to us where, why are you learning to do something that you don't need to learn to do when somebody else can do it for you?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you can do QuickBooks online. You can do all that yourself, but are you confident that you're going to do it? Are you having your wife do it? And now you're fighting with your wife because she's not doing it the way you think it should be done. We're saving the PDR industry one marriage at a time.
Wow. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Just joking. Kind of.
Sally is, a blessing. And that woman puts up with enough crap. If she had to deal with my books on top of my shenanigans.
You have shenanigans, John?
Occasional shenaniganery.
Little
it's
ones.
Few and far between. But yeah, she would, she would be, I don't know, selling vegetables on an island somewhere probably, and not putting up with my crap. So yes, very, very thankful for my tax professionals for sure. Andy, he punched Buddy the Elf. Okay, so I did punch Buddy the Elf. I want to clear up the air.
He's my favorite.
We were at Buddy's bar in Nashville, and they had a couple of Buddy blow up balloons outside, and I couldn't resist. I saw somebody else do it, and I thought that I have to do it. There was no way I couldn't. And
where did you punch Buddy?
Right in the face. You don't. Yeah, I mean, it was a balloon Buddy. It wasn't a real Buddy. I never punched a real Buddy. If I saw Will Ferrell, yeah, there's no way I could do it. Yeah, it was too funny not to do.
Yeah, as long as you didn't break it.
No, it was a well put together balloon.
Good.
Been sitting outside for many a moon. I might even have that on video. So,
I almost got Jack on video touching the electric fence.
You tell me about that.
I got one of him touching the electric fence, and then Connor told him to take his shoes off and try it. He learned about the significance of grounding.
Yes. Yeah. You got to have a good ground. And Jack learned that that's why you have to grind the E-code off when you use the Power PDR box.
That's how he learned. You're welcome, Jack.
And let's see. What did he say when all that went down? Was it woo?
Pretty much. I think there was some swearing and
gosh,
maybe why did you have me do that to the 10-year-old?
Jack
So,
forgot what it was like to be 10.
oh my gosh. And Connor doesn't miss much, so he was
He's
super
smart kid,
dry
yeah.
about that. He's like, try taking your shoes off. And Jack's like, okay. So he's gotten a few hail techs. Ask
I would
Josh
imagine, yeah. I could see him learning those
skills.
learning his ways between you and Ron. Like, yeah, he's gonna be having fun with people for many years to come.
Oh yes, yes. He learns from the hail techs too, like you and Jack.
Sorry about that.
He got Josh Helton with this little shocking thing. It's like a game. You're supposed to hang on to it, and it goes do 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 do, and then it shocks one of you. And he told Josh it was like a truth-telling thing, and then he let go of it, and Josh still had hold, so Josh got it. Yeah, that's my kid. Ron, it's Ron's, Ron's fault. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd blame Ron too.
No, it's not me at all. I would never do anything like that.
I wouldn't imagine so. I would not imagine so.
I'm a sweet little angel.
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, have we missed anything on the tax tip side? Did you have anything else written down, or?
Oh gosh, let me see.
I know you had notes ahead of time.
Pretty much categorize, review reports, reconcile, pre-tax planning with your CPA, be prepared to take advantage of growth opportunities and use us to do all that.
Some people have an interesting. I've got from some other questions coming in. Is beer a write-off? Is beer a write-off?
Are you entertaining when you drink beer?
Yeah, I mean, like in this context, I'm podcasting.
You're podcasting.
Advertising.
It's meals and entertainment.
This is a write-off. This beer.
Now, I
could podcast all day, every day, and then every beer would be.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So when you're entertaining somebody, you could be entertaining them at a wide variety of places, and that could be considered a write-off as well.
As long as you're talking about business or,
ensuring further invites to hailstorms or bond building, team building.
That's right.
Like if I took someone to a go-kart place is what I was thinking. Something like that.
Gosh, if you do that, could you get it on video?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we have some video from Orlando last year.
That was fun. That was the first time I'd ever go karting. I had never done that before. That was really fun. I'm pretty sure I came in dead last, and I was not really terribly cautious, but not quite as incautious as the male members of the group.
Here's one. Cliff's throwing curveballs.
That goes under Ask My Accountant. And that's one of those things where you're like, if in doubt on how to categorize something, I would put it under Ask My Accountant. And then, if it's something where you've, say injured yourself or it's just maintenance, you might be able to. I mean, it depends on how aggressive you want to be with your expenses. But, if you're using it because it's helping you as a technician, then I probably.
Yeah. Well, the other hack there, I would say, Cliffy, is set up a health savings account, an HSA. You can put money in there that
pre-tax money.
Pre-tax, so it's not part of your taxable income, and then you can pay for your chiropractic and or massage out of that.
Yep.
That would be one way to do that for sure. As far as calling that a business expense, like you said, it gets a little wishy-washy. Was it an at-work injury? Is it workman's comp, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I'm not.
Are you getting a massage while in Mexico and letting them tickle your feet? I mean, that's all.
Yeah, that's definitely not a write-off.
That one I would say no.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Oh, and Andy's asking about the other tiers. Yeah, we didn't cover the different tiers. So I'll let you go.
Okay. Well, we have 3 basic tiers. Our pro tier is basically kind of the one-man show. Even if you have a brick and mortar shop and you're the one tech, you don't have employees, you don't necessarily do payroll. That's kind of your basic. And so if you don't already have QuickBooks Online, we can hook you up with the reduced price QuickBooks Online through ours. We can help you decide if it's through a CPA, if it's beneficial. We do have network partners basically with CPAs. Made it sound like health insurance when I said it that way, but you know what I mean. We partner with the CPA we affiliate with them, and he's knowledgeable in this industry. So if you have W-2s, 1099, stuff like that from storms, we can help you with that. And it's all based on what you need and what is, how your shop runs. So then we have the premium package, which is, they all just kind of build on each other. And that one has more, we're helping reconcile not only bank accounts, but credit cards, maybe a car loan, something like that. And, depending on what kind of business you are, that does also affect how things are priced. If you're an S Corp, or C Corp, there's different work required to do those books. And then, if you want to, if you don't need 1099s, if you do need 1099s, W-2s, all of that. Our prime, our highest tier, basically, and these are all kind of like ranges. They offer basic services, but then we cater specifically. And then, that one is more for a bigger shop where you have multiple vehicles and loans and multiple bank accounts, multiple credit cards, several employees. If you're doing, say you're doing group health insurance, 401k, simple IRA, something like that. We're going to put you in premium, because that's the higher cost one. No, we don't do that. It's all going to be, these are the services we can provide. What do you need? And then base it on that. So,
so let's just rough scenario, average shop, average one-man show kind of guy. Got a van full of tools, maybe a laptop he likes to scream into every once in a while on a podcast. And, your average dent guy, what are they roughly looking at paying? It's kind of explain the pricing structure, because the bonus at the end of the year is what most people probably don't understand.
Right. So you're you can set it up multiple ways too. So if you're like, okay, so my slow time of year, you're in Minnesota, this hypothetical tech, he's in Minnesota and slows down in February, March, April, slowest months, you can say, hey, is there any way I can either prepay for my accounting services, a CPA, to do my taxes, or can I, pay a little bit more each month so that that's included and I don't have that expenditure at the end of the month or end of the year or during that slow time. Same thing with a hail tech. I mean, we're trying to not only help them do their bookkeeping and their accounting, but to be financially stable and responsible, and kind of consult on that, where it's like, you might want to consider doing this, you might want to consider doing that. So, I mean, pricing's gonna really vary. And I hate to throw any numbers out and scare anybody, but um, if you think about it in terms of what's your average ticket on a door ding, you'd only have to do a couple door dings a month to cover that. And then you get to spend more time with your family. You don't have to argue with your wife about the bookkeeping. And
Oh yeah.
you can do more dents and have that worry, because when you get into hail season and you're slammed, you're
Oh
bringing
yeah.
in subcontractors, you're not keeping up on your books.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's, to me, it's a no-brainer. And I've had a CPA from day one that I opened my business, and it is a definite no-brainer because, like I said, I've had a run-in with the IRS in my previous life before I got into PDR.
I did too.
It's not a fight you want to have. So I wasn't willing to go down that road. So
Right.
I would say to anybody, if you don't have a CPA, get a CPA or get somebody to handle the books for you. Just check out primeaccountingteam.com.
There you go. There you go. And you don't have to use our CPA. If you have one that you like, great. If you don't, and you're like Andy, then we can hook you up, and we can hook you up with somebody that knows the industry and knows how to write stuff off. And, and I don't want to be cagey about the prices, but it's so tailored to each individual, kind of like the tool cart and what kind of glue you use and what tabs you use. It's the same thing. It's going to change depending on the dent. And once you get into the dent, where
definitely
we're going to get in there, we're going to look at it and say, okay, it's going to take us, 4 hours to get everything in line. And then it'll be this per month to keep it in line. And then your tax preparation will be about this. And then it's up to you how you want to pay for that. And, if you want to save for taxes, if you want, that's all the kind of stuff we can make recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff's got a bunch of good points. I should have just had Cliff on. I do in many cases. Maybe I should just always. He's saying, you can make all the money you want. If you don't have good accounting, it's relevant.
Right.
Because they're going to come and get you, and paying your accountant is money well spent. Can make or break you. And literally, it can definitely break you.
Yes. Having the wrong accountant that doesn't understand the business and will,
or just trying to do it yourself.
$15,000 tax bill in April. It's like, oh shit, this is not what I signed up for. And trust me, I don't know tax code. I'm not a CPA. I don't want to know tax code. I don't need to be that R&I guy. I can be the dent guy.
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. But you guys have all that stuff put together in a beautifully well-crafted team at Prime, and is paying your accountant a write-off? That's what Cliff wants to know. And yes, Cliff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a professional service.
Professional service.
Yeah. It is.
Yep.
For the next year, but depends on how you pay them, I guess. And if you're on accrual or cash, So that's a whole other thing that most people don't really need to understand. I mean, I think a lot of accountants don't even know what, or CPAs don't know whether they should have a business on cash or accrual.
Yeah.
Accrual is a whole lot more work.
Cliff says, well, then pay Amanda. Yeah. I mean, just sign up for Prime Accounting Team.
That's right.
It's a write-off.
And we do plan on going to MTE.
Nice.
You know, we got all this kind of thrown together, and we talked in the spring, and then we all kind of sat on it throughout the hail season. And then we got back together this fall, and we're like, okay, before we decide to do anything, let's make sure that we are all on the same page. And so we're like, we're going to have this call on this day, have your vision written out to share with us, and, you know, figure it out and see if we're all on the same page. And we were all just like, yep, we are wanting the same exact thing. So
yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Like I say, I know you've been working on it for some time. And
the concept of it, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, but yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the industry as a whole. I think, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships, and I think this will help everyone be able to run their business a little bit more smoothly. So
yeah. Yep. And even
get
if
in there, guys, just
training your office staff to put things in correctly. You know, you've got someone that puts stuff in correctly. That's cool. You know, that's why it's all customizable pricing. Because I can do all my own books. I don't know how to do other stuff.
Right. So yeah, what's the best way if somebody does want to get their plan customized and figured out? Should they reach out to you directly or go to the website?
You can go to the website and, you know, click on the contact us, and you know, one of us will definitely get in touch with you and help figure out what you need. And we kind of have a whole worksheet we go through with you, and then we'll take a look at your books and go from there.
Bada bing, figure it all out. Well, good deal. Is there anything we missed? Anyone in the comments got any more questions? We're a little over an hour here, and I think it's a phenomenal idea, as Andy said. But
he's a pretty wicked smart guy.
He is. He's pretty smart for a ginger.
For a ginger, yeah. I'm less ginger every year, so
yeah.
It happens.
I grew out of mine.
He's less ginger every year too, but for a different reason.
People want good accounting, and it's a write-off. Good call, Cliffy. People want good accounting.
It's a win-win.
Sure. It is a good win-win. I love it. Well, yeah. Reach out to primeaccountingteam.com. Links in the description. And if you got questions for Amanda or any member of their team, feel free to reach out to them. And then if you're too shy to do that, maybe at MTE, I'll buy you a beer because it'll be a write-off in that context. And then you can get loosened up, and not too loose though. You gotta have your numbers straight. But go talk to them at MTE. It'll be cool to see you guys there. And I don't know. Anything else?
Other than thank you for having me on. Thank you for being the first. Rolling us out in style at Dents and Dreams.
I'm honored to have you. Honored to have you. And like I say, I think it's a great idea for the industry as a whole, and I think it'll be good for everyone. So get your books in order so you can live your best life And
so you can live your dents and dreams, right?
So you can live your dreams. That'll do her.
Just wanted to thank you for listening to another episode of Dents and Dreams. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, compliments, or complaints, I can be reached at Dent Reaper across social media. And be sure to subscribe to the Dents and Dreams Facebook group and or YouTube channel, because that's where it'll happen if and when we go live. Thanks again.